What's going on, YouTube? It's Stan the Man here, aka 12 Gauge 365, and I'm back at y'all with another video. Now, look, UFC 322 is this weekend. We have two super fights for the co-main event and the main event. So we have Weili Zhang or Zhang Weili. We have her moving up from strawweight 115 up to 125 to fight Valentina Shevchenko for the UFC flyweight championship. And for the main event, we have Islam Makhachev moving up from lightweight up to welterweight to fight the newly crowned welterweight champion Jack Della Maddalena. So now, kicking off the main card, we do have a veteran going up against not really a veteran, but somebody who's kind of coming up in the ranks. So we have Beneil Dariush going up against Benoit Saint Denis. Now, Beneil Dariush is 17-6-1 in the UFC. So I want to say he's probably the most veteran fighter on the main card. And then we have him going up against Benoit Saint Denis. Now, he's 7-3 in the UFC. So we're definitely have kind of a veteran versus, not so veteran type of matchup coming up. So basically, with Benoit Saint Denis, even though he's not really so much a veteran, he does take a lot of damage. Now, he's 7-3 in the UFC, so that's not really, he's only 10 fights in, but I really feel like the consensus around him is that he takes a lot of damage. His first fight in the UFC with his TKO loss, he took a lot of damage in that fight. He just gets into these wars, and it's just really, I don't really feel like that's going to be conducive to the end of his career, even though he is a young guy right now. Like, I just really feel like he's just kind of fast tracking his way to, retiring early, because I just feel like he doesn't, I don't want to say he doesn't have good defense, but he's the kind of guy that, like, if he's going to, like, he would rather slug it out as opposed to kind of, pacing his picking his shots the right way. He just kind of gets into these wars. Now, they were kind of hyping him up to be the next big thing when he fought Dustin Poirier, and we saw what happened in that fight. He did almost finish Dustin Poirier, so he did kind of live up to the hype that was surrounding him. But I feel like he kind of went up against, like, it was a kind of very weird matchup for me. Like, I just kind of really feel like that was not really a gimme fight for Dustin Poirier, but it was a kind of a gimme fight in the sense of if Benoit Saint Denis wasn't going to give Dustin Poirier anything that he hadn't seen before. So I just really feel like that was a fight to kind of push Benoit Saint Denis into, I don't want to say title contention, but push him into prospect status earlier than he was supposed to. But like I said, man, he takes a lot of damage. And Beneil Dariush, even though he did have two recent back-to-back TKO losses to Arman Sarukian and Charles Oliveira, those TKO losses were, they were basically, I feel like, the title. He pretty much lost those TKO. He pretty much had those TKO losses due to fighting against championship level talent. I feel like Sarukian should have had the championship fight, 5 or 6. I don't want to say 5 or 6 fights ago, but he definitely two to 4 fights ago, Sarukian probably should have already had his title chance. Like, I just feel like Ilia Topuria is not really wanting to fight him right now, and I can kind of. I can kind of see why, like, Sarukian he's not nothing to play with. I feel like he's the one guy that can beat Makhachev if they ever fought, but Makhachev have moved on to try to take on a bigger challenge. But I feel like this is a fight to where I feel like it's another one of those situations to where, as long as Beneil Dariush can kind of prove his veteran status, I feel like it should be a pretty decided win for him. And we saw Beneil Dariush. I feel like one of my favorite fights from Dariush is watching him fight Matthias Gamrot, because I feel like it was another situation kind of relative and parallel to this one, to where I feel like Gamrot was the guy that they was kind of bringing up to be the next big thing. And Beneil Dariush kind of did his thing. He kind of big brothered him a little bit. I feel like the fight was kind of close going into the last round, but I feel like Dariush kind of put the nail in the coffin when he hit him with that crazy left hand and put him on his ass. So yeah, I feel like I feel like that's a testament to how Dariush can kind of rally the fight in his favor. Like, he is a rally type of a fighter. So this is one of my favorite fights on the card. Every fight on this freaking main card this is a well thought out card. So this is one of those things to where there's no losers in this fight. Like, the audience and the crowd and the spectatorship, they're going to be the ones to win this fight. So I want to say I'm leaning more towards Beneil Dariush just because of the veteran factor, but we'll see. Like I said, Benoit Saint Denis is he is a gamer, and he calls himself the God of War for a reason, and he fights like it. He's gonna take damage, but he's gonna give damage too. So that's a fun fight for the fans. So we can't wait for that one. Now, moving on, we have Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. This is probably another one. Like I said, I can say every fight on this card is my favorite fight on this main card. But Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. So we have Leon Edwards, he's 14-4-1 in the UFC. And then we have Carlos Prates, he's 6-1 into the UFC. Now, Leon Edwards, his most notable win is obviously Kamaru Usman. They fought 3 times. I feel like the first time they fought, it was really kind of a I want to say it was a kind of it was one of I want to say it was a I want to say it was a prelude to what we were going to see as far as the future. I feel like Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman were the two best 170 pounders for a while, and Leon Edwards kind of rose to the occasion. Kamaru Usman is somebody who he will dog you out. He would dog you out. Leon Edwards' loss to Bilal Muhammad is pretty much how everybody thought he was going to lose to Kamaru Usman. It was kind of looking like that going up into the 5th round, but then Leon Edwards kind of he kind of pulled the magic trick out of the hat. He pulled the rabbit out of the hat and caught Kamaru Usman with Edwards caught Usman with one of the sickest high kicks I've ever seen in the UFC. He just knocked him flat out, and that had never happened to Kamaru Usman. Leon Edwards kind of broke two kind of barriers in that fight. He was the first to take Kamaru Usman down in that fight, and he was the first to just flatline Kamaru Usman. Like that was just a great fight. And then he comes back and wins the rematch, and then he defends it a second time against Kobe Covington. Everybody wanted to see Covington lose that fight, so I think Leon Edwards he was kind of staking his claim. He was kind of chiseling his name on the monuments for on the Mount Rushmore of the 170 pounders. So I feel like he was chiseling away, but then he ran into Bilal Muhammad, and history kind of goes from there. He loses to Sean Brady. So I feel like this is the perfect fight for Leon Edwards to state his claim to say, hey, I'm still a top prospect and I'm still a top 5 contender in this welterweight division. So, but Carlos Prates is somebody like I feel like this is styles make fights, but this is one of the best. This is one of the better striker versus striker matchups. Leon Edwards, I feel like he's such a technical and he's such a poised and composed striker. Like everything he does is by the book as far as striking goes. Like I don't want to say his striking is perfect, but it's dang near perfect to where he's always in position, and he's gotten one of the fastest knockouts I think he's one of the top 10 fastest knockouts in UFC history with the 8-second knockout, I believe. I forgot who he knocked out, but that's just the kind of fighter he is. If he's going to catch you with something, it's going to be by the book, and it's going to be planned out in the way that he's worked it and he's drilled it 1,000 times or 10,000 times. Whereas Carlos Prates, this is a kickboxer versus kickboxer matchup, but I feel like Carlos Prates is a different, more unorthodox type of fighter. His last recent win was, I feel like, one of his better wins. It's probably the best win in his UFC career. He hits Jeff Neal with a spinning back elbow, and Jeff Neal is one of the better prospects in 170. I feel like he's one of the better boxers in the UFC division, or in the UFC period, regardless of what division he's in. I know Ilia Topuria, Dustin Poirier, Jack Della Maddalena, those are some names that people kind of throw up in the air as far as the best boxers. But I really feel like Jeff Neal, like, if you film on Jeff Neal, like he puts some of the prettiest punching combinations together that I've ever seen. And, even with his fight against Shavkat Rakhmonov, I feel like that was one of his best. I feel like that was the best fight in his career. Like he really showed that even though this is a guy that everybody thinks is the scariest guy in 170, he still pieced him up a little bit. And obviously Shavkat came and, did his thing and continued his finish rate. I believe he had a 100% finish rate up until that point before he ran into Ian Machado Gary. But he is who he is. Everybody knows he's the next up at 170. So we'll see how his career pans out. But I feel like Jeff Neal was a really great prospect up until that point. And the fact that Carlos Prates was able to hit him with a spinning back elbow, that's just a testament to the unorthodox and the intangibilities that comes with being one of those kind of strikers. Leon Edwards is kind of by the book. Carlos Prates is not by the book. He just hits you with whatever comes to his head. And like I said, I just feel like those Brazilian kickboxers, like I feel like there's just something in the water with them. But I really feel like this is a great matchup, one of the better striking matchups. So I can't really call it. I'm not leaning towards any side in this fight. I feel like if anybody was going to win, it would probably be Leon Edwards by decision, or Carlos Prates probably catching him with something in the 2nd or the 3rd round and knocking him out. But we'll see how that fight goes, man. We'll see how that one goes. Now, next up, we have Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. So I feel like this is one of the more this is a matchup between two of the probably more I want to say I want to say they have more of a chance of being of getting to that welterweight championship than anybody that I've seen so far. Michael Morales is undefeated in the UFC. He's 7-0 in the UFC, and he's 18-0 as far as his overall career. And we have Sean Brady, obviously. Like I used to tell people all the time, I feel like if there was a perfect template for a fighter, it would be Sean Brady, in my opinion, because even though his knockouts aren't as, he doesn't have as many knockouts as he does finishes, I mean, as he does submission finishes, I feel like he has, he has A+ boxing, A+ grappling. He does everything. He does everything excellent as far as what you want to see as far as a champion goes. And I feel like he has been kind of like on the back burner. He's kind of been the dark horse of the 170 division for a while now. I was surprised. I was surprised to see him get finished by Bilal Muhammad, but I feel like that was kind of, you got to put an asterisk by there. Like it was kind of like a hiccup in his career. But it's one of those things to where he if he's gonna bounce back, he's gonna bounce back. So and he bounced back in a major way, and we saw what he did to Leon Edwards. Like he pretty much broke him down, and it was just a matter of time before he caught Leon Edwards with something. But I feel like Sean Brady is the type of guy that he can dominate and just straight up. I feel like I don't want to say he has Hamzat Chimaev type of wrestling, but he has that type of level. He has that level of wrestling to where he can just shoot takedowns on you for 25 to 15 to 25 minutes and won't get tired. But the thing I like about Sean Brady is that he will mix it up. He will throw those punches at you to where you have no choice but to respect his striking. And by the time you get your hands up, you're already on the ground, and he's sinking in something. Like he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Daniel Gracie, I believe. I have to go back and double check my Carfax on that, but he is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And Michael Morales, I feel like he is somebody, like he's very tall and very big for the division, so a lot of, like, he has a lot of power in his hands, and we obviously saw his former. I mean, his best win was against a former challenge contender when Gilbert Burns. So I feel like these guys both have their best wins against former championship level contenders. So this is a great fight for the fans. I can't really. I mean, it's just it's kind of weird for me because I feel like Michael Morales. I feel like every time they give him better competition and better matchups, he fights to the he fights even better than what we've seen from him. So, like I said, I feel like Gilbert Burns, like he really showed like how, like, okay, yeah, you increase the level, then I'm going to increase my level of veracity and my level of play as far as what I'm going to do in that cage. Because Gilbert Burns, like I thought Gilbert Burns was going to get the win against him because I've only seen Michael Morales knock people out. And usually when you get guys who just starches people up into that point, once you give them a respectable matchup, someone that's a former title contender like Gilbert Burns, they usually kind of fizzle out, and they kind of lose a little bit of that steam. But Michael Morales proved that that don't even matter. Like he's gonna come in and knock out whoever's in front of him. Now I feel like this is the toughest. This will be the toughest matchup we've seen from him, and I feel like he has that thing about, he's got that kind of aura and he's got that kind of energy about him that you think he can get the job done. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But Sean Brady is not. I feel like he is. I don't know. I feel like nothing's stopping him. I don't feel like he's gonna lose until he gets to that, until he gets the title, till he gets that title shot. I don't feel like he's gonna lose. That's just the kind of aura he has around him. I don't know in this fight, man, because I feel like Michael Morales, I don't think he, even if he does, even if he doesn't have the grappling advantage that Sean Brady does, and I don't know that, like he probably does. I don't know his grappling prowess. All I've ever seen him do is knock people out. So I'm not sure, but I think a good counter to Sean Brady's grappling prowess would be the strength of Michael Morales. Like I said, he's really big for the division, so I feel like his strength could be a counterpoint to Sean Brady's grappling. So these are two very strong fighters, but I can't really call it like this is a. I feel like this card has been this card is one of the cards that where they really thought about these fights that they put together. I really feel like this is really proven to be the emergence of the 170 division. I feel like 135 was the kind of division to watch for a while, but I think 170 has in the past couple of years, I feel like 170 has really been the division to watch out for because there are some crazy contenders. I didn't expect Jack Matter. I thought Bilal Muhammad was going to have the belt for a while, and I thought he was going to be the one to fight Islam Makhachev, but Jack Della Maddalena, like he really threw a wrench in the plans in the 170 division. So it's really crazy and it's really exciting to see how this division is going to pan out. So all right, so we're moving on to the co-main event. We have Zhang Wei Li moving up from strawweight to challenge Valentina Shevchenko for the UFC Flyweight Championship. Now, this is one of those phenomenal striker versus striker matchups. So we got two guys. We have two women. We have two women that can put on a striking clinic. We have another Muay Thai striker versus another Muay Thai striker. I mean, these guys basically have these women basically have. So now we're moving on to the So now we're moving on to the co-main event of the evening. We have Zhang Wei Li moving up from strawweight to fight Valentina Shevchenko for the UFC Flyweight Championship. So look, this is another one of those Muay Thai striker versus another Muay Thai striker. This is another dynamic striking matchup. Probably one of the probably is going to be the fight of the night. I can't wait for this one. So we have Zhang Wei Li. We all have seen what happened when she fought Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So that was another Muay Thai kickboxer versus another Muay Thai kickboxer. So I feel like that's it. I feel like this fight can be another one of those type of situations. But I feel like when these guys, when these fighters, when these guys move up from lighter weight divisions up to higher weight divisions, I feel like with the guys, there's always strength a strength disadvantage that comes with it. Now, recently we've seen a lot of success happen. Like we've seen Max Holloway come up to avenge his loss against Dustin Poirier, and he knocked out Justin Gaethje at UFC 300 when he moved up from 145 to 155. But I feel like he's a situation to where he was already big for the 145 division. So when he did go to 155, I feel like he just kind of fit right in. Like he just feels like he's in the division that he's supposed to be in. So I can't wait to see the great things that he'll do at 155. So obviously we have Ilya Taporia. He moved up from 145 to 155. Now he was kind of already knocking people out at 155 already. So I feel like that was a kind of asterisk on his win when he moved up to beat Charles Oliveira. But now I feel like with the women, I feel like there's not much of a strength advantage that has to be had with this one because Zhang Wei Li is already a strong, like she's a strong. If you look at her body frame, she's already strong. She has a strong base, strong kicks. You've seen she displayed a lot of strength in the cage as well. So I feel like there's not going to be too much of a strength disadvantage. Now with Valentina Shevchenko, we did see what she did to Jessica Andrade. Now Jessica Andrade is she's a straight up menace. Like she can roughhouse with you. Like she will grab a hold of you. We saw what she did to Rose Namajunas when she slammed her on her head. And Valentina Shevchenko just came and just freaking manhandled her, no pun intended, but she pretty much just came and manhandled her, and Josh couldn't do anything about it. She imposed her will on her. So I feel like there could be a strength advantage, and it might be in Valentina Shevchenko's favor, but I don't really see it happening in this fight. These are two very strong strikers. I feel like Zhang Wei Li had the greatest UFC fight of all time, male or female, when her and Joanna Jędrzejczyk fought when they fought for their title fight. I just feel like Zhang Wei Li has. I feel like this is not really going to be much of an experience difference. Now, Shevchenko, she's been in there with Holly Holmes, Amanda Nunes. She's been in there with the who's of 135 and 125. So I feel like she might have a she might have an experience advantage as far as the UFC goes, but their records are pretty much parallel to each other, and their skill set is pretty much parallel to each other. Like their striking is very synonymous with each other, and they're two parallel strikers. We basically just have one country versus another country. Like we're just gonna see who comes up with a better game plan come Saturday night. So I feel like this is one of the best fights. I really can't say enough about this fight. This is probably gonna be the fight of the night. I'm banking on either this one being fight of the night or Leon Edwards versus Michael Morales being the fight of the night. So we're just gonna have to see. Like there's just some great cards. Like shout out to the matchmakers again. This is a phenomenal card. Now, moving on to the main event of the evening, we have Jack Della Maddalena taking on Islam Makhachev. Now, Makhachev is moving up from 155, and he's fighting Della Maddalena. Now, Della Maddalena is he's the newest champion in the welterweight division. He beat Bilal Muhammad. Now, like I said, like I feel like 170 is kind of on the same playing field as what 135 was. Now, 135 is one of the best divisions because they had so many different fighters, like so many dogs at 135. But I feel like 170 is pretty much the division to watch now. I mean, we have so many fighters at 170, and I didn't even expect Jack Della Maddalena. I knew he could fight for a championship soon, but I didn't know it was going to be this soon. And nobody, I don't, I mean, people might have expected him to win, but I didn't think he was going to be a champion pretty much this soon. Like that was crazy. Like I think he threw a wrench in the plans as far as everybody else's path to the 170 division title. Now, like I said, there's still so many different fighters that could be contending for the championship right now. Like Jack Della Maddalena, he's obviously the champion. Bilal Muhammad, he could fight for the belt. We have who Leon Edwards, obviously Kamaru Usman, like he's the second greatest welterweight of all time, so he's always going to be somebody to watch out for. And then you got Shavkat Rakhmonov, obviously he's like probably he's the scariest 170 pounder right now, period, in the world. And then who else? Like we got Ian Machado Gary, like Carlos Prates. Like there's a lot of fighters at 170 that could stake a claim for that for the welterweight title. So I just feel like 170 is on fire right now. Now Jack Della Maddalena, I feel like he has some of the best boxing in the UFC, but I also feel like his grappling is probably even better than what his striking is. So and I feel like that played a very, very good role in him beating Bilal Muhammad for the championship because Jack Della Maddalena, like he was undefeated at the point, and he was undefeated. He is undefeated, and he's going up the ranks. And when he fought Gilbert Burns, I feel like Gilbert Burns was supposed to be the stopping point for him and stopping his hype train, but I think he just kind of went against the grains, and he just kind of the way he finished Gilbert Burns is just like he could have fought for the belt after that one for sure. So I just feel like he's just the guy that everybody has at the forefront of the 170 right now because his boxing is just A1, his striking is A1, and his grappling is A1 plus. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he's somebody that could probably be champion for a while. I don't really see as I'm looking down the line at people that could challenge Jack Della Maddalena for that belt. I mean, Ian Machado Gary, I feel like he could probably do a good job against him. I feel like Leon Edwards probably could fight his way back up if he can get past Carlos Prates. I feel like he can probably put himself back into title contention, but I honestly feel like the grappling is probably not going to be. I don't think the grappling is going to be where Leon Edwards is going to be able to weather the storm. I feel like Sean Brady, he's definitely somebody that could probably beat Jack Della Maddalena. I think I've got Shavkat and Sean Brady as the two guys right now. Now we have to see if Michael Morales is going to be a contender. This is going to be his toughest fight yet. So if he can beat Sean Brady and knock Sean Brady out of title contention and kind of take his place, then Michael Morales is somebody that we have to watch out for. But I feel like in this situation, like with Islam Makhachev, like obviously everybody considers him an evolved version of Khabib. So we just have to see if his grappling is going to take place. Now, the thing that I love about Islam Makhachev over Khabib is that Makhachev will strike with you, and he can strike. He can strike, and he's willing to go in there and step in that fire and strike with you. And you see, like he does have one loss, and one loss does come by knockout. So he will go in that fire and he will strike with you. And I feel like that's what sets him so far apart from Khabib is that he will go in there and strike with you. Now we saw Khabib, like we know Khabib can strike, but Islam Makhachev, I mean, he's having head kick knockouts. He's having the way he finished Charles Oliveira with him catching him with the hook and then going in and sinking in the triangle choke, the arm triangle. Like I feel like he's just like I said, man. Islam Makhachev is just Khabib in an evolved form. Even though Khabib is undefeated, and Makhachev does have a loss on his record. I feel like if you were to give Khabib a set of striking moves to increase his game. I feel like if you fuse that together, then Islam Makhachev is what would be the prime result of that. So I feel like Makhachev is definitely on track and he's definitely on pace, and on paper he can defeat Jack Della Maddalena. I feel like there could be a strength advantage for Islam Makhachev. Like I said, like I feel like they picked a very, very perfect moment. Now, with as far as him going against Bilal Muhammad, I just don't know if that would have panned out for him because Bilal Muhammad, like he has like a third lung or something like that. Like he just doesn't get tired. But we saw what Jack Della Maddalena did to him. So who knows? Like, I feel like Makachev, like, they picked the perfect time for them to move up and challenge for this 170 title. So I feel like he has a great chance of at making it happen. Now, is it gonna happen? I'm not sure. I just think Maddalena, I think his boxing is too crisp. Like, it would really just depends on if Makachev can weather the storm as far as moving through and being able to maybe slip or counter or maybe block some of those shots that Della Maddalena is going to throw, and maybe can duck under and shoot for a double leg or a single leg and maybe work his grappling in. And then we would have to test it, and then we would have the question of if his grappling, if Jack Della Maddalena's grappling will stack up to somebody like Makachev's, because Bilal Muhammad was supposed to be one of the better grapplers at 170, and we saw Jack Della Maddalena was able to solve that puzzle. So I feel like this could be a situation to where Maddalena can show that, hey, this is, I'm that guy now. But, everything as far as history and what's been going on recently, everything favors the guy that's moving up from the smaller weight division and fighting the bigger weight division. So, man, look, man, it could happen. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of leaning more towards the guy that's already been at 170. But hey, if anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be Makhachev. So I feel like Makhachev is definitely on his way to chiseling his Mount Rushmore, his face on the Mount Rushmore of MMA. And like I said, we'll just have to see how his career ends up panning out. But I really think this is one of the better cards of the year. I feel like if they was going to finish this year off with a strong card, this will be the card to put together, because this main card is freaking phenomenal. If you've been paying attention, like, these guys are freaking, like, I feel like 170 is the I feel like 170 is the featured weight division on this card. But hey, we'll have to see how everything pans out, man. But like I said, man, I can't wait for this weekend, and I hope y'all can't either. So let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments. Who do y'all have winning? Who y'all have losing? And who do y'all feel like they should fight next if y'all do have them winning, man? So let's see what's going on, man. We'll see what's going to go on with this weekend. So I don't want to hold y'all up for too much longer. Stay in the man. We will see y'all on the next one. So yeah, be on the lookout for some more videos, man. We're going to drop some more movie reviews soon. And I got some workout videos I'm planning on dropping soon. So yeah, man, just be on the lookout. We got a lot of stuff coming soon. So yeah, we will see y'all on the next time, man. Holla at y'all. Hope y'all have a good one. Stay blessed, stay safe, and always stay dangerous, man. Holla at y'all.